and then there was this other girl. So this is, I don't know if you knew that she was here, because I don't know if I've ever told you. I barely ever, you know that there was the one girl who I was interested in high school.
Yes.
You know that, but I hate talking about this.
Am I going to learn something new today?
I fucking hate talking about this because I try to bury this person
Every time
deep
I tease
down.
you about this girl, you get so upset.
How's it going, bros? I wanted to make a sort of update vlog. Well, we already attempted to record this and it didn't go super great. I was doing something with Hope. We were gonna do a comment response and it was just a weird video. And I don't feel like editing it because I got too much shit going on. So this week we're moving. As you can see, we've been putting our life in boxes. We've got empty shelves around. Piles of boxes. We're moving. As you know, if you watched previous Vic and Hopes, we bought a house. We're moving on Saturday. Hope has to, work every day, of course, so it's just a long process of packing, getting all the shit figured out. And I need to put my gear away. That's kind of the greater point here, is that I have this whole desk set up with my camera and all this equipment, and I would like to start putting it away so that I can initiate getting it all in my car and getting it into the new house. So it's gonna be a slow week. We don't have much stocked up in terms of what we can release during this time. But most importantly here, the Vic and Hope bonus episode is live. I wanted to explain what that became. If you're not following Discord, if you're not on our fan Discord, you haven't heard any discussion about this, or maybe I talked about it in podcasts, I'm not sure. But basically, my plan for the bonus episode was to make it like a structured, like proper podcast, sort of like the H3H3 podcast. So it's separated into different segments. The recording we did ended up being 3 hours long. It was quite the recording. So, because it was 3 hours long, I broke it into two separate parts. So part 1 is up right now, which is an hour long, and then part 2 is going to be released later this week, which is 2 hours long. I'm suffering. Anyways, I'm so tired. So, part 1 is up now. Part 1 is separated into 2 segments. The first segment is us reacting to COVID-19 commercials. It's pretty funny, pretty good stuff. That segment I am gonna release on YouTube as an edited video to promote the bonus podcast and to be sort of like a new avenue of like the Vic and Hope podcast as like a public release thing. So each one of these bonus episodes will have a segment that is edited and released on YouTube like a week later. So if you want to see it early, you go on the Patreon and you see that shit. But anyways, so there's 2 segments in the first part. It's an hour long. First half hour is talking about the COVID-19 commercials. Second half hour, I've got a story time segment, and I'm going through and telling the story of the 10 years that me and Hope have known each other from the beginning. So I tell the story of how me and Hope met leading up to our first convention together that I referenced in the All Anime is Cringe video. And there are some details of that story that even Hope did not know. So she is learning some things for the first time. It's pretty entertaining. It's pretty fucking good. It came out very, very solid. This is a great bonus episode. I really like what happened. The audio isn't great. I essentially hit the fuck up the audio button on the camera on accident. I was running phantom power into a battery powered lapel mic. My bad. I fucked it up. Had to do a whole bunch of editing to it. So the audio's not amazing. I would recommend getting the video version so that it sounds a little, so that it, it doesn't sound as weird just being like an MP3. But anyways, so that's part one. Part one is out on Patreon. $1 you get the audio version, $5 you get the video version. It is out. Part two will be coming out soon, which is the rant hole of sorts, doing quotation marks. That's part two is the rant hole. That ended up being 2 hours long, where we talk about all these topics that people suggested us. We watched things for people. Came out pretty entertaining, even if you haven't seen any of this stuff. It's a good, solid Vic and Hope podcast, and it's 2 fucking hours long. So this week we are putting out 3 hours of discussion content. It's on the Patreon, and I highly recommend checking it out for $1. I think it's definitely worth it as a fucking bonus episode. At least at the audio version, which it is functional as an audio podcast. I describe everything we're talking about. I didn't want to gatekeep the audio listeners out. And going forward for the next couple months, I've already kind of decided that any of the money that we're making through the Patreon, I'm gonna spend on equipment to make the videos better. So first off, probably next week, I'm going to buy Hope a microphone so that the audio of these podcasts is better across the board. We'll have 2 mics. Planning on getting some better green screen stuff like that. So any of the Patreon donations that you make are basically going right back into the show, at least in the beginning here, until I have it all worked out, because I want to make sure my new home studio is just fucking flawlessly efficient, so that we can crank this stuff out with the same frequency that we have been once I go back to regular work. And that's going to depend on everything being really streamlined. So, like, it's already fairly streamlined the way I have it set up here, but I would like something that's kind of permanent. So anyways, that's me rambling. Really appreciate all the support so far. Patreon is doing incredibly well. At least for what you would expect from like a tiny channel doing their first month of Patreon. It's doing pretty fucking great. Definitely gonna help us get like some better equipment in here. But yeah, check out those bonus episodes. They're really good. I think it came out real fucking well. And it's good shit. It's more of our voice, it's more of our stories, and that's what people appreciate the most. Sorry if the content on the YouTube slows down for a little bit while we're in this move. Shouldn't be too much. It's just a matter of, I don't know how long it's going to take us to unpack everything and kind of get back into the swing of shit. And I need to start actually thinking, like, Virginia is reopening. It's had its soft reopening, and you can feel that no one gives a fuck about COVID anymore around here. So I have a feeling I'm going to have to start, like, cracking down, getting back to work, you know? So to me, I talked before about how this was like a multi-phase operation. Getting the bonus episodes up is kind of the end of phase 1, which is establishing what we're doing, channel identity, giving people an expectation of what we're going to be doing going forward. I think we finally, with the bonus episode, that was the kind of the last step in like saying, hey, this is who we are now, this is what we're doing, this is how the content's going to be. There's still some things to work out with the format of the bonus episode, depending on what people like and what worked well. But you know, we talk about that in the bonus episode. If you watch it, you'll get to know that. But yeah, so entering phase 2 in my head is like me transitioning back to work and making sure that we can actually keep fucking doing this, like, when the world isn't ending, you know? And I'm like, nervous-sided, as Fluttershy would say, or Pinkie Pie would say. It's like, I'm incredibly nervous to go back to regular work, because it's been a long fucking time, and I feel like my social skills have completely diminished, and I have a lot of anxiety about going back. And I have anxiety about balancing this channel with that regular work, because I've been putting just all of my attention into this YouTube shit. That at the end of the day, like, the amount of time it actually takes me to make the videos versus the amount of time I dick around looking at like channel analytics and procrastinating. Like it's in terms of like what a regular person would do as a full-time job, I could do my regular job and this and not really overwork myself, you know. I just won't have any time to play video games or whatever, which is fine. So I'm optimistic about that, and hoping to grow it, hoping to show it. Fate Part 2. I'll try to get done next week. It really depends on how the unpacking goes and how quickly I can get that set up and get the energy to do it. It just takes so much energy, and this week I just, like, we started packing up and the house immediately became a mess with boxes, and I was just like, I can't do the Fate video this week. I really want to do Part 2. Very excited to get that done. It's going to be so much chaos and so much fun, but also, like, I don't want to force myself into the mood to do it, you know? I want to feel good about it while I'm doing it. And so it's just going to take a little time. Hopefully next week I'll be able to get that done. But we'll see. I wouldn't want it to drag on too long. But, yep. That's an update. See you guys soon. See you after the move. I'm sure the first thing we'll do is do a big podcast talking about the move and all of that shit. So look forward to another podcast down the line. Please check out the bonus episodes. At least, you know, check them out this month. Do a one-time payment. Check out the episodes. Evaluate if you want to, you know, stick around. And then maybe, you know, wait 6 months and have fucking, like, like, I usually do it with, like, the Dick Show or something. You know, he puts up bonus episodes, and if you pay $5, you get the whole backlog of bonus episodes. So I would wait, like, 6 months and then just have a whole bunch. But that's so much to catch up on. You're not going to want to do that. But yeah, check out the bonus episode. It's pretty good shit. Pretty personal, pretty fun, pretty neat. Bye.